Hey, this is Matt once again. What about in the video? This is another paid request for Efree. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both these are down below in the info box. And this is for Hammer, the 1972 film starring Fred the Hammer Williamson. And all four of these requests actually have Fred the Hammer Williamson in it. So thank you, Efree. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I'll get to as soon as I can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Now, I knew of Fred the Hammer Williamson from, I would say, from Dusk Till Dawn. Might have been my first time seeing him. But there's been a few of his I've liked. I saw Original Gangstas a while ago. I do remember liking that one. He was in bit parts here and there on stuff. I'm trying to think. There was a movie, was it Black Cobra? Something I saw that went, what? But, I mean, Fred the Hammer, I mean, he's a good presence on screen. He has a great voice. I liked his acting. He just has a good charisma. For a big guy like that. I'm not sure about his fighting, because sometimes his fighting is a bit funny. When he's trying to do his judo. Whoa, whoa! Like, he maybe learned in a martial arts school, but he learned in the school of kung fu movies from the 70s. Like, wah, wah, yeah. He doesn't have the Jim Kelly, wah sound, but it's like the ooh. It is. He doesn't also do the kung fu wah wah, but it's like. But this is more of boxing, so you don't see a whole lot of that in this. But I still like Fred Williamson, so it was cool to watch these movies. I will say I think two of them were good and two of them were bad. This was decent though. Now they try to have, because of the success of films like Shaft, they try to have their own theme songs, and this is Hammer. Granted, it's not quite Shaft, it's not quite Isaac Hayes, but you're a bad hammer jammer. It did make me laugh. So we're at the docks. There's the bad guys moving a crate that apparently has over 1 million heroin. That thankfully we, the viewer, are told. One guy is saying, hey, that crate don't go over there. He goes over there, not knowing what's in it. He's told to mind his own business. A fight breaks out. He gets his ass hit, but then Fred comes in, beats the guy. The guy pulls out a switchblade. Fred gets a hook. There's a bit of fighting. Gets the knife away. Sally doesn't use the hook, so the hook was kind of useless. But you beats the hell out of him. He's pretty much ready to get fired, but someone goes, well, hey, wait a minute. This guy, he has a history of dealing a bit with boxing and stuff. We have a series of boxers. We want you to work for us. And hey, Fred thinks this is a good opportunity. So they have him do some sparring. He does a nice uppercut. He's getting beaten up beforehand. And I like the older guy. I forget his name, but there's this older guy that comes out and goes, I'll take him. Like this big, fatter, older guy. I liked him. I kind of wish he was in the film more. But he's a guy that kind of knows what's going on. And then pretty much he's given this girl Lois as kind of the person that will lead him around to go where he needs to go. And of course, eventually him and Lois don't get together, but they're not that way at this point. And pretty much Hammer enjoying the life. Like, things seem to be going well. He's doing these boxing matches. He's winning them. And it kind of feels as if there were two films going. There's the boxing movie with Fred. And then there's this drug movie with William Smith, who played Conan's dad in Conan the Barbarian. He was in Maniac Cop. He's done a lot of stuff. So it was cool to see William Smith in this. And the movie has a charm to it in its 70s style of filmmaking. It was definitely done on the cheap. There's a bit where William Smith is following this pimp because he screwed some people over, is going to run him down. But the way they shoot him running him down is like, you tell, like, the car's not really doing anything, so you see it up close to the car kind of sitting there, and they're moving the camera a bit, but the guy's like, being run over. Like, they had to do it away, obviously for safety reasons, but you can tell, like, the way they did, it's like, okay, the car's not really going down there and running the guy over, so they tried to do it with editing and stuff, and it looked a bit funky. But even that had a little bit of charm to it in a way. I will say at times the movie felt like it meandered a bit. As in, where is this movie going? It finally reaches about, I felt like, where's this movie going? Because it's Fred doing his thing. Once in a while, a cop tells him, these guys you're working for are not good guys. You gotta talk to me. I'm not talking to no cop. Leave me the hell alone. But it has enough entertaining scenes for me that it still worked out at the end. Like, I did like the bit when he's going to a better environment, so he needs to leave. So he goes back to his ex-girlfriend's place, and she's just giving him the third degree. You're this, you're that, you're a piece of shit. Get out of there. You don't miss these. And shows him her tits. I do like his line. Just like a bus, mama. Miss you. Catch another. He likes calling women mama. Which I never understood that. Like, if you're with a girlfriend, I don't want to call her mom. I don't want to think of a girl as my mom or mama. Never understood that. I just like some girls, they have like, hey daddy, hey dad. I mean, why do you really want to fuck your dad? Like, why call her daddy? It's one of those things that is, okay. Won't spill my water thinking about that. But yeah, if you want. But he likes to call. I know a lot of people in the 70s did, hey mama, what's going on? What do you want to do? Suck on your mama's titty? Stop calling me mama. But that was still an entertaining exchange. There's a bit where him and the girl Lois go to a bar. And all of a sudden, like, the bar also has like a little bit of a strip club thing where there's a girl topless with a lasso. So it's funny, like, there's Fred and this girl Lois, and they're kind of watching. There's this girl topless with a damn lasso and stuff. And I'm like, okay. This is a hell of a non-date you two are on. This is white woman that just randomly comes into Fred's room as, I guess, room service. I'm a special kind of room service. She goes under the clothes and he's under the bed sheets, and he's like, ooh, you got cold hands. You did a bit of love making in there. William Smith, he's a good villain. He finds that girl later and beats the hell out of her, saying, you N-word loving bitch. I'm not going to say the N-word, but you know what it is. And he, like William Smith, he plays a good baddie. He has that look, he has that tenacity with his voice. And of course the bad guys, they're bad for a reason. So they don't just run drugs, they also get rid of their people. They don't screw them over, or if a boxer, they have no room for them and they don't want to play ball, they'll get rid of them. It's like one guy, cops chase him. He gets away, but he wants out of it because he's tired of the heat being so close. Okay, fine. Well, we'll take care of you. So William Smith and his goons later get to him. It's like, yeah, you don't want a trip. A freedom trip. I'm like, okay, that's a different way of saying that. Calling it a freedom trip. And he's like, no. And they inject him, so he's going to be overdosed, and his death will be blamed on drugs. The boxing scenes at time were so-so. I mean, it's definitely no Rocky. I know this is before Rocky, but there's definitely no Rocky movie or its sequels, or Gladiator with from 1992, or later ones. There's the one with Jake Gyllenhaal. So I mean, the boxing could take it or leave it. It was okay, but again, not definitely not expert boxing. Sometimes a bit more flailing. But I could watch it, have some fun with it. This one was talking about like kind of meandering a bit, wondering like where it's going. But more spoilers. Get to the third act. This guy is told by his boss that Fred has to throw the fight. He had his time. He's got to lose. And hey, he'll lose, and then we'll bring him back for a rematch sometime down the road, and he'll be a martyr, to his people, and we'll make even more business. Some people, including this guy who helped train Fred, called the Professor, he's against this idea. They're beating the hell out of him. Fred and his buddies get warned. They go over there. They help the Professor. Meanwhile, Lois, the girl, gets taken by William Smith. Pretty much saying, listen, if you don't throw the fight, we're going to hurt Lois. So then the cop who's been talking with Fred, I forget how he found out where Lois was at. I'm sure he explained it, but I forgot. It reminded me a bit of Tip Boxer. And honestly, I would say I put Tip Boxer above this because in that it was his brother gets taken and says you better throw the fight or else, but make it look good. Here is we're going to take your girl, you better throw the fight but look good or else. And then someone goes to arrest you. Here is a cop going to arrest you, Lois. Well, in Van Tip Boxer, his sensei and his buddy went and rescued the brother character. Anyway, let's think more of Tip Boxer this. I do like the line that Fred says to the one guy. He goes, nothing better happened to Lois. He's talking about, oh, well, I thought I had more control of the situation, but trust me, I still got some control. And Fred stops and goes, listen, nothing better happened to Lois, or no amount of control is going to save your ass. I like Fred. The fact that Fred stars in this, I think, definitely helps the proceedings. It definitely helps the film. I think if it starred someone else, it'd be kind of meh, forgettable, mediocre. Where some view it, even to this day, because Hammer, it's not really talked about as much as like Shaft or. I always say I like Truck Turner with Isaac Hayes more than this. But this is still decent, especially if you're into blaxploitation movies. You got some nudity, you got some boxing, you got Fred doing his business. You even have like referee Gene LaBelle. I'm like, judo Gene LaBelle? Stuttering some. Judo Gene LaBelle? That's cool. Always nice to see Gene LaBelle in there. But he doesn't have to throw the fight anymore, so he beats the guy's ass. They celebrate. William Smith and them kill the other bad guy. Fred chases William Smith and his goons. His buddies go with. I was kind of hoping Fred would beat everybody up himself because he's the main hero, but the other guys come in. Now, granted, there's not a lot in expert choreography. It's kind of 70s action where it's much more flailing, much more like rough and tumble. So you're not going to have crisp choreography that, that type of, But it's more, just kind of doing whatever. But it's still fun to see. Tate's William Smith's head throws right into the car windshield. He wins that round. And then pretty much the movie's over. The cop gets there. They get arrested. He's going to be with Lois and everything's fine and dandy. So. As is, it was fun to watch. Great to see Fred in his element, in his heyday. A decent amount of action, fighting. You have some nudity in there. Yeah, that blaxploitation charm throughout it. Some fun lines of dialogue. Sometimes I felt it could have a bit of a tighter pace. Or maybe a little bit more where maybe Fred is seeing certain things, or he's trying to think maybe there's something going on. While I thought he seemed a bit too... He just didn't want to look into things. Too oblivious for a bit too long in the movie. This is what was going on. A bit too oblivious for too long. The cop character... I don't know if it was the actor, but I thought he could have been a much stronger character, the police officer. Like, he was fine. But I don't know, if you had maybe Isaac Hayes as the cop or someone else, it would have brought a bit more oomph to that character. Like, that would have been cool if Isaac Hayes was the cop or someone else to that effect. That would have been cool to see. Maybe a little bit more crisp in the fighting. But overall, it was a fun exploitation film. As it has that charm to it. Even though I complain about it, at least it wasn't too long of a movie. Trust me, there's another Batum one that he requested that Fred doesn't star in, but he's in it, that did feel a lot longer, was a lot more boring, and that'll be the next one I talk about. But this one, especially, knowing how it could be worse, this was fine. The movie was fine. So with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.